Hi and hello and good morning and good afternoon to whomever and wherever you are watching us. My name is Natalia Sarata and I will tell you a story of how my way to resilience and our way as an organization can maybe be an inspiration to other organizations and movements. It is a story how a Women's Room Foundation transformed into a RegenerAction Foundation. That is my affiliation for now. What you can see on the picture is the view from Pieniny Mountains on the south of Poland to Tatra Mountains, also in the south of Poland. And I'm showing you the picture because this is the place I was born and raised, and where I spent the first 19 years of my life. This is where I realized that what the common good is and what an activist and volunteering work is in my family town of Szczawnica. And also, this is where I realized that the nature has its cycles, and that apart from blossoming time and giving fruits time in the summer, there's also autumn and winter that is a very difficult time and a very challenging time in wintry areas. Speaking simply about lower temperatures and all the life going underneath to blossom again next year. From here, being in my 20s, I transferred up north, still in the south of Poland, to Krakow. Krakow is a very traditional city, a historic city in the south of Poland. It's a former capital of Poland. This is where I spent the half of my life building myself as a person, as a human being, building on what I got from my roots in the mountains. And this is where I met friends and sisters and collaborators, and we established a Women's Room Foundation. The aim of the foundation was, past tense, was to revive the history and remembrance of women living in Krakow in 19th century, in the beginning of 20th century, and their fight for political rights and the right to vote. We try to remember and make it known again, their history, and make history of Krakow also her story and heritage of Krakow. This is where Women's Room Foundation started working. This is where, in 2007, we created, me and my co-workers and friends, the organization. And for some time, it was our place and my place to be in the world and our work to be done. We tried to show the roots and we toured the tours around Krakow in the footsteps of Krakow's suffragists, working under difficult conditions. There was no country of Poland. Poland was, as a country, partitioned into three other countries. So they worked, my ancestors in the women's movement, they worked very hard to regain or to gain political rights and citizenship, and also to study, the right to study at the Jagiellonian University. And they also fought for me here speaking to you publicly today with no accompanying man companion being next to me. So they fought for my autonomy and also for the freedom to associate that we used very much in terms of how Women's Room was created. We were quite successful. We were rewarded as an organization. We were rewarded for a new approach, an inspiration for the community, but also for our enthusiasm in introducing this perspective into the old walls of Krakow. But then something difficult started to happen because we started feeling helpless and drained, and our enthusiasm mixed with frustration and then was replaced with stagnation and burnout. So we were trying to find new ways or find some way of how to resolve the issue of us um, having difficulty to being enthusiastic again after several years of work. And some of us chose to stay in the organization for some time. And I decided to, because, I come from the mountains, this is my strong identity. I decided to look for an answer in another mountains. This is not Polish mountains. This is Pyrenees in Catalonia in Spain. I went there to a very a friendly community to search for answers. What's going on with me and with us in the organization, as we were having more and more cynical attitude. We were more less empathetic towards people we were working with, and we lost hope and sense of why the organization was established and why our calling, our mission was necessary and important. So I get some answers that I brought to organization, and it made us look for another ways to see what other ways and what other possibilities are there. And you may be surprised, but we decided in dialogue and communication that we will close down the organization. It felt a bit dramatic because after 12 or 13 years of being active, it was very difficult to close the organization down, and nobody does it. We didn't have any inspirations from other organizations, as there is this strong necessity to keep the organization going, not to show that it's the end, that we do not have more of a passion, or we do not have this energy among us to cooperate for our common purpose. So it may be surprising because then it felt a bit dramatic, closing down the organization, and what is going to happen with our heritage? Would it be forgotten, like the heritage of the ancestors that came before us? But for today, I believe that closing down the organization was one of the most important choices me, myself, and we as a team made, splitting our ways, parting our ways, and starting new adventures in social entrepreneurship. It went, it is for the best. And this is the moment I need to it was the moment where I needed to remind myself about the cycles in nature, where winter is a part of the activity cycle. And this is what we need to remind ourselves in organizations and social movements, that the winter and wintering time is needed and necessary, because we cannot be active all the time. This is not what resilience is about. The resilience is about bouncing back and forward and being flexible, having times of difficulty and going underneath and going wintering, and then coming back to blossom with new powers, new energy, new enthusiasm, sometimes building on the heritage of what happened before. So this is the strong recommendation for you if you do not know the book of Catherine May, which is called Wintering, The Power of Rest and Retreat in Difficult Times. I believe that it can be a beautiful story for organizations and groups to reconnect to the nature of the group process, to the nature of how conversations about the social change can look like. And as my colleague Carolina Hammer, the Paralympics medalist in swimming, reminds me from time to time, the rest is also the part of the training. So the rest is also the part of our activity, of our activism. Even if the necessities and difficulties and challenges are there all the time, we need to rest in order to be there for the long road. And also, I believe that resting brings us back creativity and strategic thinking for the long run. This is why, after some time of a break, after some time of vacation or sabbatical or unemployment as well, um, I decided to come back to the social sector to be again in a cycle of creativity and work, and also resting as a part of work and part of training. And this is why the RegenerAction Foundation was established. And what we propose in the organization is doing things together, it's working together, but also resting together as a part of the work, as a part of the activism. And this is a human rights organization, and our strong notion is that resting is a human right. So we need to be, and we want to be, in integrity with what we preach. We try to practice it as well. And what you can see are several teams and groups and organizations that take, for example, forest walks with us in nature to observe the cyclicity, to be in a cycle with us, to rest also as a part of work. Uh, it can be in a forest, it can be in a local park, to stay together, to be in touch with our needs, with our understandings of what's going on, to talk about resting as a burnout prevention on the organizational level, because this is not only our individual task to do, to rest. If we are burnt out, the whole organization is burnt out. And if the organization presents a burnout culture, we cannot be safe and healthy and be here for the long term. So another thing that is going on is not only resting as a process, but also building the care infrastructure, the physical spaces where we can rest together and strategize together and practice being trustful to one another again and to cooperate. We'll be creating a physical space for human rights movement in Poland and in other countries of Central and Eastern Europe in the next 3 years. So we find this space, marking the space as a space to rest and recuperate and reorganize and recharge as a very important method of coming back to being creative, innovative, and alive again. And I believe that we are living in difficult times, and a crisis are in their synchronicity. There is a chronic crisis process happening. So we may feel that we are frosted and we are wintered and we are stuck in the snow. But I believe in the long run, as the generations of activists, not only human rights activists and social entrepreneurs, were doing before us, this is on our in our hands now to rest and to create the space to defrost for this ice on rivers and in the mountains to break. And sometimes in our way we can find the most interesting and amazing, surprising companies. Thank you very much.